Concepts of movement, rest, and reference. What is movement? Movement is the variation in position of a body or object in relation to time. A car leaves the garage, then changes its position, thus moving. Therefore, movement is the variation in the position of a body. A bus starts and leaves the terminal, it changed position, thus starting to move. Therefore, movement is the variation in the position of a body. A helicopter leaves the heliport and starts to fly, it changed position, then it started moving. Therefore, movement is the variation in the position of a body. When does a body start moving? A material point is in motion in relation to a certain reference when its position, and that reference, varies over time. What is a reference? People once believed that the Earth was the center of the universe, that it was flat and stationary in space. Because they thought this way, they determined that the Earth would be a fixed point in the universe. And because they thought it was fixed in the universe, they decided to analyze the distances between celestial bodies, such as the distance between the Earth and the Sun, the Earth and the stars, the Earth and the Moon, and the Earth and the planets. Then, the Earth became a referential point. The Earth became a reference or starting point for analyzing the distances of celestial bodies in the universe. Over the years they discovered that the Earth was not flat, but was round, and that it was not the center of the universe, nor a fixed point in space, but varied its position all the time, that is, time moved. And they discovered that there is nothing that exists in the universe that does not move. All bodies in space vary in position, therefore they all move. But the origin story of the reference is still valid today. Normally, in physics studies, they need a reference point to study the distances between cities and territories, between stars and planets, between galaxies. However, there is no longer a fixed point as a reference, as was the Earth. The reference point may vary depending on the analysis being carried out and the circumstances. Let's say we have two students who live opposite the school. The first student says he lives next to the market, and the other says he lives near the ice cream shop. So, we see that, depending on the circumstance, we have different references. One student has the market as a reference, and the other student has the ice cream shop as a reference. Therefore, the reference may vary depending on the circumstances. Reference is of great importance in physics, as it helps in analyzing the distances between places and points that are being analyzed. Let's look at some examples of reference. A car leaves the garage, with the garage being the reference. Observe that the car changed position, therefore the car started moving, during a period of time, depending on the distance traveled. The man, sitting at the train station, is the reference point, and observed that the train changed position, therefore the train started moving, during a period of time, depending on the distance traveled. A plane takes off, leaving the airport, and with the airport being the reference, it was observed that the plane changed its position, therefore the plane started moving, during a period of time, depending on the distance traveled. When is a body or object at rest? A material point is at rest in relation to a given reference when its position, and that reference, does not vary over time. A plane is parked at the airport is the reference, the plane has not changed its position, so it is not moving, therefore it is at rest. A ship is anchored in the port is the reference, the ship has not changed its position, so it is not moving, therefore it is at rest. A bicycle is in the garage at home. The garage at home is the reference, the bicycle has not changed its position, so it is not in motion, therefore it is at rest. After we understand movement, rest, and reference, are we going to apply what we learned? In this animation, we note a car on a flat street as a reference, with no variation in position, so a car without variation in position is a car without movement, therefore the car is at rest. In this other animation, we see on a flat street as a reference, in a given time, the car changed position, so, as it changed position, it is in motion, therefore, Movement is the variation in position in a given time. Now, on a flat and circular street, as a reference, the car does not change its position, so it is not in motion, therefore the car is at rest. In this other animation, we have a car, on a flat and circular street, as a reference, and every variation of time, there is a variation in position, so, as it changed position, in a variation of time, it is in motion. Now, we observe, on a flat street with a loop as a reference, the car does not change its position, so it is not in motion, therefore the car is at rest. In this last animation, we see a car on a flat street and a loop as a reference. It presents a variation of position in the plane over a variation of time, so the car is in motion. It presents a variation of position in the loop and a variation of time, therefore, the car is in motion. Hello, our video has ended, but you will find much more news on our YouTube channel, Busca de Verdade, and on our website reformadoresdesaude.com. News and videos and texts with various tips on health, historical themes, archaeological, educational, principles and virtues, mathematics and physics, geography and science, methodologies, and much more. Join our channel and our website and you will see millions of topics covered there. Do not waste time. Knowledge is power. We wait for you there. Until later.